Hi everybody, Joe Conkley in the shop. Today's episode of the shop is another question, Ask the Shop. We received this from a customer online. I like to display my instruments out of their cases so they're easy to pick up and play, but someone told me this is bad for them. What should I do? Well, the first thing you should consider doing is not displaying your instruments, unfortunately. Although it's not something that you have to do all the time. So the main problem with displaying your instruments in the room is that it makes them harder to humidify. And of course, humidifying your instrument is a large concern for part of the year. Anytime you have your furnace turned on and it's forced air heat, that is drying out the air in the room. And the colder it is outside, the drier that air is outside. That air seeps into the room, and you must heat it up, and when you do so, you dry it out even more. So certainly from November through February, that can be a problematic situation because in displaying your instruments, you have to humidify the room enough to keep them safe. Well, what is a proper relative humidity for keeping instruments safe? Anything 40% or above at 70 degrees. So during that time period in the winter, it's much harder to do so. It would be safer for your instruments to take them off their display stands and put them in their cases with a case humidifier, which the case is a much smaller environment. It's much easier to humidify that smaller environment rather than the larger room. But for the rest of the year, it's not as hard to humidify that room. So you would only need to take them off their display stands for part of the year. What you would use to humidify that room is your standard household item humidifier. You know, you have to fill it up with water or supply it with water, and so you have to deal with that small part of it. But it takes a surprising amount of water to humidify a room. So it's a little more of a challenge than one might think, and you have to have a proper gauge to tell you accurately what that relative humidity is, and those are a little harder to come by. There are numerous hygrometers available, and not all of them are accurate, so you have to come up with a humidifier that's easy to supply water to and a proper hygrometer to check that. And many times the amount of humidity one has to put in the air to keep the instruments safe, especially during that very cold time, can be a problem for any windows in the room. The windows can take on that humidity, and on the opposite side of the window where it's cold outside, you get a lot of condensation. That condensation can be a problem for the health and longevity of the window frames in particular. So again, that's another reason not to display them during the winter months. But during the summer months, it can certainly be a fine thing to do. And so that's the answer in a nutshell. Don't do it during the winter, or if you're going to, you're going to have to spend extra time and energy on humidifying that room. I find it easier just to put a case humidifier, put them in the case, put them away during the winter months. Display during the summer, spring, and fall would be the transition time. Depending on the humidity that your hygrometer is in the room. So if you're going to display them in the room, I would definitely get a hygrometer to tell you what's going on. And anytime it gets below 40%, put them in the case with a case humidifier. There you go. Next, in the shop, we are going to get back to actually fixing instruments like I am here today. And so We'll see you soon on In the Shop. We can always do an Ask the Shop anytime you have a good question. So please continue to send in those questions, and we will answer them during In the Shop. But soon we're going to get back to showing you what we do here, which is to fix mandolins and guitars and banjos and anything else we can get our hands on. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.